Garðar Svavarsson is considered by many to be the first Scandinavian to live in Iceland, although he is said to have stayed only for one winter. He and his family appear in the Icelandic Sagas, with the principal source from Haukr Erlendsson's edition of Landnámabók. Garðar Svavarsson was a Swedish Viking and owned land in Zealand. He was married to a woman from the Hebrides. During the 860s, he needed to claim his inheritance from his father-in-law. During a voyage to these isles, he sailed into a storm at Pentland Firth. This storm pushed his ship far to the north until he reached the eastern coast of Iceland. He circumnavigated the island, becoming the first known person to do so and thus establishing that the land mass was an island. He went ashore at Skjálfandi, where he built himself a house and stayed for the winter. Since then, the place has been called Húsavík. Having returned, he praised the new land and called it after his own name, Garðarsmi. Nothing is known of his fate thereafter, but his son, Jón Danski, later emigrated to Iceland. He made a feeble attempt to win it for the Norwegian king with himself as earl. He had discussed this with the king, but when the local farmers knew his intent, they would help him in no way, and soon he was killed. He had a son, Rautungugarði, who was referenced to as priest in the sagas of Icelanders. Raw quarreled with other men and was twice challenged to a hill battle and won both times. He killed his opponents but was eventually murdered, but then avenged by his son. Raw's wife was Anna, sister of Gunnar Hamundarson, who is one of the main characters in Jarl's saga, the longest and generally considered the greatest of the Icelandic sagas. Note: this article contains content from the AL edition of Nordisk Familjebok, a Swedish encyclopedia published between 1904 and 1926, now in the public domain.